Hey guys, Simon here, and thanks for stopping in and checking out the video. Today I am talking about Spider-Man for the PS4 and going to give you a little backstory on one of the villains possibly confirmed for the game, Carrion. In the video, I'll give a little backstory on Carrion and some of his abilities and how he could fit into the story for the game. If you guys enjoy the video, do the button thing, subscribe, and leave a comment letting me know what you think. Thanks again for watching, and here we go. The original Carrion was created by Bill Mantlo, Jim Mooney, and Frank Springer. He was created with his origin tied into a sequel to the original Clone Saga where Spidey fought a clone of himself in front of the Jackal and disposed of said clone in a smokestack. Due to his origin, his history has been recanted several times, but this has only served to make his history a bit more complicated. So let's see what we can unravel about him and how his comic history could tie into the upcoming game. The original Carrion was created by Dr. Miles Warren. He was actually a clone of Warren that was left in the capsule to mature to full development. However, Dr. Warren died before he can pull it out in time, that's what she said. And the clone was left in the capsule with an artificially accelerated age. This of course causes things to go wrong with the clone and it becomes a living corpse. As a clone of Warren, Carrion had all of Warren's knowledge and he also knew Peter Parker was Spider-Man and blamed him for the deaths of Warren and Gwen Stacy. Everybody had a thing for her apparently. Carrion develops a plan to kill Spider-Man using a spider amoeba by cloning Peter's cells, but during the fight a fire breaks out and the amoeba attaches onto Carrion instead, suffocating him and then burning to death in the subsequent fire. Due to his time in the capsule, Carrion developed superhuman strength, durability, and could become intangible, allowing him to pass through objects and disintegrate organic matter to ash just by touch. He also displays powers of telepathy, self-levitation, and telekinesis of organic matter. He creates a chemical substance called red dust, which can render a victim unconscious or act as a corrosive acid and burn through flesh, metal, and even other substances. The second version of Carrion also had an odd origin. This version of Carrion was created when Peter was trying to find answers related to Dr. Warren's cloning process and had some back and forth with a villain called the High Evolutionary. Long story short, Malcolm McBride discovers a test tube containing a strange substance. Upon studying it, he discovers that it is an advanced genetic substance that when exposed to air grows rapidly. He makes a mistake while studying it, classic Malcolm, and turns himself into the second version of Carrion, complete with all of the knowledge and powers of the original, along with his vendetta against Spider-Man. This Carrion continues trying to kill Spider-Man, but slowly the memories and personality of McBride start to push through Carrion's consciousness and to reassert control. This proves to benefit McBride when he saves his mother from an attack after he teams up with the Hobgoblin to take down Spider-Man. He later teams up with Carnage, Shriek, Doppelganger, and Demogoblin during the awesome storyline Maximum Carnage. During this time, the mentally unstable Shriek viewed Carnage as her husband and the other villains as their children, including Carrion. They were however defeated and re-imprisoned at Ravencroft. Later, Shriek breaks out and frees Carrion, and in an attempt to fully dominate him, pushes McBride to destroy all aspects of his personality and life by killing his mother. Malcolm struggles with this idea while his mother and Shriek fight over him, but eventually she reaches her son. Seeing this despair in someone she views as family, Shriek cures Malcolm somehow of the Carrion virus, and McBride returns to Ravencroft for treatment. The third version of Carrion, and the most dangerous of them all, was William Allen, a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. He ignored protocols during an examination of the Jackal's corpse and was infected by a new version of the Carrion virus. This version of Carrion possessed the ability to control the minds of others using a zombie plague through the red dust. He planned on infecting all of New York with this plague, but was stopped by Spider-Man and taken into custody by S.H.I.E.L.D. and stored in a stasis until a cure could be found for his condition. The Carrion virus is able to infect and control victims without alerting their bodies to it. This allows it to hide in bodies undetected. If it remains in the body long enough, it can permanently bond to it. The virus is resilient enough to reform itself after near destruction as well. It can also assume a bodily form of its own, one which resembles the previous Carrions. In this form, it can create a vapor that, when breathed in, allows said person to be controlled. In a nutshell, that is Carrion's comic history. I think where most of us can see some possible connections to the game comes in the form of Carrion's red dust that has the power to turn regular people into a zombie-like minions or just kill them outright. This dust has possibly been teased a couple weeks back in a Daily Bugle newspaper that was released on the Spider-Man PS4 website. This article talked about a substance called grave dust that when used turns a subject's skin ashen gray and hardens it. These people appear to have fits of rage when they can harm themselves or even others. My previous video about Tombstone suggested this could be tied to him due to the similar appearance of his skin and what happens to these people, along with the substance being called grave dust and his name being Tombstone. They sort of go hand in hand. The image in the Daily Bugle also shows a man with a biker vest with a capital T on it, also suggesting this could be some of Tombstone's minions. The substance just as easily could be used by Carrion to further whatever his own plans might be. Since we don't know a lot about this universe yet, we don't know if Carrion is around or even which version of him we may get. It's very much possible we get a version of Dr. Warren or Malcolm McBride working with Peter at whatever lab company he ends up at, with some of them doing some type of genetics work, which could create clones for one or just turn the other one into whatever. Also, with the game being set in October, either one of these villains would work out for a Halloween type theme. I think that whatever ends up happening, Insomniac is going to knock it out of the park and give us some pretty cool boss battles with some of these lesser big name comic book villains. Well guys, that is all I have for you on this video. I hope you found the information entertaining. At least a few more weeks of waiting until we can get our hands on what will undoubtedly be the best Spider-Man game to date. Thanks for watching and checking out the video. Now go away.